But it's always good to see subscribers whom, I mean, I'll be honest, really struggled at tuning to where, man, y'all tunes sucked. Hey, mine sucked too when I started, so that's fine, but y'all's really sucked. But today, you look at their tunes and they're getting busy. I think that's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing, because you're going to find so many people in this hobby that, of course, can't tune, don't know how, you never see it because they don't have it, but they're going to always recommend stuff. But then you also have people, they can get cracking with their engines, but they don't want to tell people how they do it. Me, I don't care. I want everybody who is with it, as far as understanding you don't know what you don't know. There's no magic ways about it. You just got to put in work. 100% of those people, I want to be successful in this hobby. Who wouldn't? I firmly believe that there is a cultural change happening. Once again, I think it's fabulous. So keep it up, guys. Hey, also Natural Sea Nerds here. It's been a while since I've busted some Savage myths, but this one's a long time coming. It has to do with the Savage and clutch setups. Of course, I have to give you my disclaimer. I am no expert whatsoever. I've never claimed to be an expert. What I can tell you, however, when it comes to the Savage, I've run M2C, OFNA, VP Pro, Mugen, Buku, Novorossy, Tamiya, Works, Hot Bodies, of course stock, and everything in between. So what I tell you here is only based off of my experience. Nothing more, nothing less. So this is the type of activity we have going on in this hobby. I say, let's take it over. My intent here is sincere in that I genuinely want to ensure that other newbies don't get burned by make-pretend experts like this who freely throw out advice with no substance or anything behind it whatsoever. Nothing realer than niggas getting they skrilla like a gangster, a killer, and Mac will be the dope dealer. Anything I can do to save you guys some money, I'm going to do it. Even if that means...
Y'all in for a treat. I ain't never been so ready to whoop a man.
Basketball Ellis, you remember when your mama ran a car into the canal off some of this too, man. I ain't lying.
I'll go as far as saying I'm unaware of anyone who has run the number of clutch setups on the Savage as I have. Is that bragging? Of course not. I'm old enough. I've been around the block a few times, I promise, and you know, I know the mark of a man is not defined by how many clutch setups he's run on the Savage. It's just a fact. If you know of anybody who's run as many as I have, well, let me know. I would love to get in touch with that person and trade notes. You know, so I believe what I'm telling you here is what they call wisdom. I don't know. It's up to you. Some people accept it, some people don't, but I've done my part. I'm putting it out there. Here's a scenario I see all the time. Not just for the Savage, but especially for the Savage. Someone will go to one of these forums and they'll chime in and they'll say either one of two things. Hey everybody, I fried my clutch. What clutch do you recommend I get? Or I'm ready to upgrade, I want to upgrade. What clutch do you recommend I get? Let's begin with the first one. I fried my shoes. I trashed my shoes. Whatever. I just saw it the other day, actually. Someone says, hey, you know, I trashed my stock shoes. I'm thinking about getting some aluminum ones now so it doesn't happen again. What do you suggest? Everybody chimes in with, oh, I got these, well, I got these, you know, these HPI aluminum ones, and I forget that, what's that brand that makes that real cheap aluminum parts, whatever that you know one is. I get a lot of Integy, yeah. I get a lot of Integy shoes and blah, blah, blah. Until finally someone had the fortitude to chime in and say, Whoa, whoa, whoa. But have you determined why it is that you trashed your shoes? Look, I've said this before. This is a pair of HPI stock Teflon shoes, nylon, composite, whatever you want. These have, right now, 7 to 10 gallons on it. Okay? These over here are a set of OFNA with about the same amount. Okay? These are a set of aluminum, OFNA blue aluminum shoes that have probably 5 tanks. It is a fact. These last longer than these. That is a fact. It's there's information that's rampant online that states the opposite, but again, I mean, it's no one is, people will either go, oh, okay, and they get it, or they get defensive and they'll want to, save face. But all I can say is if you doubt it, research it, whatever. Trust me, it's a fact. So knowing this, if you are considering upgrading, quote unquote, to aluminum to increase the longevity of your shoes, you're going backward. Okay? That's number one. Number two, if you trashed your clutch shoes, all right? So if one day they look like this, you run it, and then they're trashed, whatever the effects are. I can only think of one reason that it occurred. Now, this is something that I can't prove as in it's the only reason, but I've thought long and hard about it, and I simply cannot come up with any other reason for it to happen other than it getting too hot. Now, I've busted a flywheel pin on my Savage running the stock shoes, and the stock shoes were fine. Regardless, let's say that heat isn't the only reason. Let's say that there's another reason. Well, the fact remains there is a reason. So now, seeing as we have people out there who actually want to learn, let me try to break it down as to what's happening. Okay, so essentially, something has gone wrong to cause your clutch shoes to become deformed, melted, torn to bits, whatever. Something has occurred. To my knowledge, no one has ever done anything other than melt them. I've not heard of any being sliced in half or anything like that. Like I said, I lost a flywheel pin, and the shoes were still intact. They were scored, but they were intact, and they were usable. So they, in the history of these problems, I mean, I only know of shoes melting. And that's because of the heat. Now, when things get hot, the first things to go are going to be, in other words, just like if you were stripping your plastic spur gear, and then you suddenly decided, well, I'm going to switch to steel so it doesn't strip anymore, you're putting a Band-Aid over the underlying issue. The bearings. Or the bearings could have been just simply, they haven't been maintained, or they've just run their course, and consequently, the bearings are the cause of the bell heating up. Either way, the bearings are jacked, right? They either cause it or the result of it. Doesn't matter. Rubber shield, metal shield, and on both these bearings, both have popped their seals. You just can't see it. But inside of the bell, you rub your finger, you'll get grease. So what happens is grease is splattered from here onto the bell, and it causes the shoes to slip, which in turn gets the bell even hotter, more hot, which in turn is going to cause these to continue to get worse and worse and worse. People then say, oh, I just need to change my bearings. Okay, they change their bearings. Well, there's all this grease inside of there that's baked on that you can't see even after you you wipe it off. I'm going to show you in an upcoming video. If you put like a lighter to it, you'll see it melt off. So it's on there. And for all intents and purposes, you really can't get it off without jacking up your bell, for real. Like, nothing will have a grab to it. So right there, you're screwed. I don't see a scenario where you can use your bell. If you put aluminum shoes, it's going to be worse.